Awesome.
I gotta tell you, I'm so jazzed. I'm wearing my Lift Up Luke shirt. I haven't seen this in a long time. Usually I wear the Give 5.
Yeah.
I love it. Hi, everyone. Hi, Terry.
Disinfection process completed.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Rebecca. How's it going, Terrence?
Oh, good. How are you, Jeff Snyder?
Doing all right?
We were just talking about you guys. Thank you, Jeff, for joining us from the East Coast, and Terrence,
Pleasure.
and Laura, and
Oh.
Karen. We have a few more people who are joining.
Hi, everybody. Terrence and Jeff,
Hi.
I was just telling Josh I was hoping you came on to meet him today.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
In addition to everybody else. Hi, Karen.
Yes.
Hi, Laura.
Hi,
There.
All right.
nice to see you all.
Great to see all of you.
Good to you too.
Thanks for joining on a Wednesday. I'm going to go ahead and get us started so we can stay on time. All right. So, happy 35th Lunch and Learn, everyone. A couple of Zoom rules for those of you who have never joined us before, or just as a refresher. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking. We recommend speaker view for presentation. Video sharing is optional, though we'd love to see all your friendly faces. And please type all questions and comments into the chat during the whole Lunch and Learn. You're welcome to comment. We want to hear feedback from you. And if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. At the end, we do have a Q&A with our guest speaker. So you are welcome to interact as much as you want to, and we really encourage it. Next, I have a quick update from Autism Tree. We have now have reached over 526,000 people through all of our social media platforms. So thank you so much for everyone who has been following us and what we're doing at Autism Tree. This is stats since March of last year, since shelter in place. Our posts have been shared over 865 times. So that really shows that people are loving what we're doing and engaging. Thank you so much for sharing all that we're doing for our community. We also have 318 videos on our ATPF YouTube channel, which is incredible because we only started with a few last March. 267 of those videos were posted since March 12th. It's really easy to be a subscriber. Please subscribe today. It takes 1 second. So you can follow all the fun stuff that we're doing. We have a lot of program managers, directors, volunteers. Thank you for submitting videos, the short videos that are like 1 to 5 minutes of fun things for our kids and families to do at home. We also started a Reading with Autism Tree series last April Awareness Month, and we now have 93 Read with Autism Tree videos posted and have reached over 43,000 people just through that video series. We have also provided 208 virtual events to date and have 7 events coming up between now and the end of January, though we are still updating our 2021 calendar. So always stay tuned on our website and our social media event calendars to RSVP for all of our events. We also have been offering 19 of our 20 programs, 18 are virtual and 1 was in person, our Bridge to the Beach program last summer. Fingers crossed that we can do that again this summer. But of course we are so blessed to be able to provide all of these virtual events for our kids and families. So without further ado, I will pass it on to Dana Hoff, our co-founder and volunteer executive director, who will be introducing our special guest speaker today.
Thank you, Rebecca. I'm really thrilled with just how excited I am to be together today. Every week, we just keep building on the week before. And I think you'll see by the end of this Lunch and Learn why I feel pretty sentimental that Josh Everett is on today on this inauguration day of our 46th President of the United States of America. I just, I chose the quote for Josh earlier than even thinking about the inauguration. And I just think when I show you there's kind of a thread of it just naturally. And you know, Josh, I was just thinking of different men within the Autism Tree Foundation and how much you stand out for the values that you have. And it's really random, but yesterday I was taking Todd's, hi Jeff, you said, I'm really hoping to get back to doing in-person events in San Diego soon. I agree, Jeff. We miss you out here, and you did such a great job at our neuroscience conference last year. Yesterday I was at my dry cleaners, and the guy that owns it is Korean, and it's really hard for me to understand him. It's sort of like charades, but he was really fired up about what's going on in our country, and he was asking me, where are the cowboys and where's God? America, where are the cowboys and where's God? And I just I came home and I told Todd that I'm like, he really broke it down, and he's from Korea. But no, I just, I think it's a beautiful day in our country when we keep just moving forward, and having Josh here. When I think about you, Josh, I just can't help it. I always just think, gosh, you're such an amazing man for so many reasons, not just because you're a CrossFit icon. And when I met and heard about Josh, I had actually asked Lisa to call Josh because we had a lot going on. And Lisa said, Dana, I looked up Josh Everett. He was referred to us from one of our team. Hi, Terrence. I was just there too in November. Hi. Where were you in November, Terrence?
I was just there at the conference with is it a Living Autistically panel?
Yes. You were with us. You were on, yeah, Josh, Terrence and Jeff were on the panel at our last neuroscience conference we did. You both did such an awesome job too. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, so anyway, I didn't know Josh, and when we were first introduced, Lisa was going to call Josh, but she looked Josh up and she said, Dana, I looked Josh Everett up, and there's over 400,000 people that watch him on this CrossFit videos. So you better call him. And I said, oh my God. I didn't even think I'd ever been on YouTube, Josh. We were just mind blown. Like, we knew it was a big deal, but we didn't know what CrossFit was. I didn't know what YouTube really was about. I know I hadn't been on there, but I think the first time I went is because of you for sure. So, I'll just never forget. I called Josh and it was just instant. And we had so much in common with Coach Carragher, who ran our football program at USD. And just, I feel like there was a thread of Josh we know a lot of the same people, particularly from our athletic program, and from Doug Flutie having helped us start Autism Tree. And I might not remember every detail, Josh, but I just remember it was a great conversation. And every time I ever see you or I'm around you in your CrossFit world, I'm always intimidated and inspired that it's a beautiful, beautiful community. I had no idea it was all around me in my own neighborhood, yet alone the whole entire world. And I think that's why Todd and Garrett and I do not lose. I don't know if you guys can see my shirt. I'm wearing my first Lift Up Luke event that Josh and his family did. And we're really bad at keeping all the t-shirts from the events over the years, but we have all of our events with Josh and his family from the fundraisers they've done for us, and we love them. And so I think with getting started, there's just so much I could say, but first I just want everyone to know I couldn't be happier that you're going to get to know Josh Everett, and that it's happening today on the inauguration of our 46th president. I just think it's kind of extra cool. When we start out with a question, everyone usually types in their answers if they want. And it's just a way for us to connect and hear your voice and thoughts. And we send out a follow-up email, Josh, after this. And it's really well read. The open rate's really high by you guys. That's why we keep doing it. And so all of this will be there, as well as what you type in. So what is the best advice anyone has ever given you? I feel like my mom had a really beautiful advice that we all kind of tried to follow from her in our house, which was to never go to bed mad. And I really love that. I'm not always successful because sometimes I do have a temper when something's really upsets me. But I always remember my mom saying you should never go to bed mad, especially if you're married. Don't go to bed mad ever at your significant other. I don't know, Josh, if you want to share just for fun, what is the best advice anyone has ever given you without overthinking it?
Yeah, sure. I think I can think back to my dad, and I didn't understand this when I was a kid. He used to tell me, do something even if it's wrong. And, that sounds kind of counterintuitive, when he was telling me when I was in middle school or high school. But now as an adult, I see that, the effort is in trying and always trying to move forward, and mistakes are okay. So I think sitting around on your butt doing nothing is always the wrong choice. So that's it for me. Do something even if it's wrong.
I love it. And I found this list that I wanted to share with everyone about this because I thought it was good. And it was, just kind of back to the basics, 9 pieces, best pieces of life advice that I've ever received. And number one's, whatever you do, give it 100%. I know you do that, Josh. I like to think I do too. Forgive and let go. Read a lot. And that also inspired me to share this, because if you haven't become friends with Josh Everett on social media, on Instagram or Facebook, Josh, I just want you to know I really appreciate when you share how much you read and how it's a goal of yours, and you're always sharing the books you're reading. And I just want to say thank you for that. And it's right here on the list of best pieces of advice is read a lot. Don't ever stop learning and growing as a person. And I feel really that one we're all nailing together. I know that if we're all here every week, that's because we're all interested in learning and growing, even in the most unprecedented times in our country during this pandemic. We've been doing it. This is our 35th Lunch and Learn, and most of us have been together on every single one. Karen wrote, read the Bible. Yes, Karen. And I know Josh does that too. And you both inspire me to do that. So thank you for typing that in. Save a portion of your earnings and avoid credit card debt. Hi, Terrence. Yes. Read music.
Oh,
Terrence,
yes.
agree. A lot of these, if you're friends with Josh on his social media, I know he does that because he shares it. And it's really, it's really important to inspire others with things that are making you successful. Change your thinking, change your life. Find a mentor and do what they're doing. Be kind to people, treat people as you would like to be treated. Never, 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 never give in. And I feel like for the most part, you guys, I really do think we're nailing this, but it's always a good reminder. And then we'll send this out in the follow-up. And the next thing we're going to bring up, Josh, is this quote that I picked for you right when I saw it. I thought, oh my gosh, this reminds me of Josh. And it was written by Billy Graham. And I just thought, today when I was thinking about everything and watching some of the inauguration, I just love that Billy Graham was, so such a part of our history with our country and our presidents, and having the faith to keep God in our country. And it's just great that I chose this quote for you way before. It had nothing to do with inauguration today. A good father is one of the most unsung, unpraised, unnoticed, and yet one of the most valuable assets in our society. And hands down, Josh, you're making such a big influence that there's no way you could possibly even know. You don't know the impact that you're having, but I know that you're having an impact that's not quantifiable for so many reasons. But one of them is because of the kind of father that you are to your sons, Luke, and oh my gosh, Timmy. This video I found, Josh, there's more than one video I could have picked because I love them all, but this is where we started, and this is the t-shirt that I'm wearing today. Lift Up Luke. It's just 3 minutes, and it's kind of the first event that Josh did for Autism Tree Project, and I love to show it. Rebecca, are you able to get the sound to work?
Oh, sorry. Do you hear me now?
I do. The video, I didn't hear the sound, and I think there is, There should be sound.
Yeah, there is sound. It's playing on my end. Let me.
It's not playing over here.
Okay, hold on.
Is anyone else hearing it?
Yeah, I can hear it a little bit.
Okay, I'm gonna try
Okay.
one more time.
Okay. Okay, great. I still love that video, Josh. Rebecca, you've been up on the screen, on my screen the whole time.
Everybody can see my screen, so it's okay.
Okay, can you bring me back up so I can move forward?
Yes, hold on.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks everyone for your patience.
I know we're having a little technical difficulties today. I love that video, and like I said, I hadn't ever known what CrossFit was, and Todd and I both love working out, but we had no idea that a 5-minute workout at CrossFit would be completely exhausting and humbling. I think that video, if you really look at it, captures the intensity. Josh, I hope I have it correct, but I know you won the first World CrossFit events. If you ever want to share any of that once we get going, this is just kind of my reflection on the archives of everything Josh Everett has done for the Autism Tree Project family without any hesitation or exaggeration. If you look at that check right there, when Josh and I talked on the phone, he said, hey, I think, we're going to do a fundraiser and we'll probably raise a few $1,000s. And I was like, that's great. That sounds really good. And if you guys look at the check, it is still to date the largest check we've ever received in the history of Autism Tree Project Foundation. And that was 7 years ago. We are now in our 17th year, and that was in 2013 at our 10-year gala. His beautiful wife, Mary, Josh's wife, Mary, presented us that check. I have to look at it again. It's $62,000. I mean, I think I almost passed out, and it's still, Josh, it's still a record at ATPF, and there's just no way to imagine how incredible when you look at. I'm going to read this slide. This is from our luncheon, our first 1,000-person luncheon. We wanted to recognize the global impact that Josh made by doing this CrossFit fundraiser. We had no idea that CrossFit had a global community. And so every CrossFit gym around the world was largely participating because Josh is an undisputed CrossFit icon, and he can elaborate a little bit, if you would, brag about yourself a little bit, Josh. But everybody in the entire CrossFit world knows Josh Everett and his family. And so this was taken out of that luncheon program. ATPF gives a huge thank you to Josh and Mary Everett for their heart and passion for ATPF. Thank you to Train Heroic and the Everett families for supporting thousands of ATPF children. You have inspired countless athletes throughout the global CrossFit community to reach out, give back, and raise awareness for autism. ATPF is thankful and honored to be part of your team. Since 2000, the first Lift Up Luke and Lift Up Autism worldwide awareness, more than 21,000 athletes from over 1,700 gyms, more than 50 countries around the globe, and more than 20 million social media impressions, raised in total from all the events $174,799. Just phenomenal. It's so wonderful to share this history that Josh has with the Autism Tree today and introduce them. If you look up there, that's my husband Todd and I on the stage honoring Josh and his family for all that work. And those pictures are so many in the far bottom left hand corner, but these are from the years of events, and they're so fun. And it's just amazing, Josh, to look at your little family right there in the corner. That was the first event, the shirt I'm wearing today, how small Luke is. That was 7 years ago. So he's just grown, and both your boys are so strong. And second picture, there's the little brother, Tim, and so much fun. And that was from a picture where we were thanking Josh and Mary for all their work too at one of the later events at top. That's actually at our house. This was from the first event, and I love the one of Luke with the rings and you holding him up. It's just so sweet. All these photos just really capture. That's just only at one CrossFit gym where we were at there. The far right hand quarters you with Linda Welby, who had you on a radio show to pump up the first event. We can go to next slide. This was from 2015, Lift Up Autism. That's the shirt. If you look at photos I post on my social media on my own personal site, we're usually, Todd and Garrett are always, I don't wear t-shirts as much as they do, but they are always wearing that Give 5 shirt. We love all the shirts we have from these events. And it's just fun that you can see different gyms. If you look below, there's a CrossFit gym that participated in San Francisco, CrossFit Golden. I believe that's in San Francisco. Josh and Mary, and then even our board member, Linda Townsend, in the far right-hand corner with us, participated and brought some of her network too. We can go to next slide. This is from 2016. I just love all the logos. If you look up in the far right-hand corner, this is Lift Up Autism. It was from 2016. And once again, you can kind of see Josh and his beautiful family. They're growing. And it's crazy how much they grew during this time, each year that we did it. And just to look and see that Linda's in the second photo. She's from our board. And Heidi Moker, who was one of our hardest working volunteers, who's now living either on the East Coast or in the middle of our country. But we miss her, and just so much great history looking at these photos and just seeing everyone's dedication. This is from 2017. And each and every time that we did this workout at CrossFit, it was hard and it was exciting. And Josh and his family always inspired us so much, just in their athleticism and their kindness and their heart, and just the beautiful community that the CrossFit community is, and how loved they are in the CrossFit community. I think that's the last slide. So Josh, I just want to say it was so much fun thinking about all this, and just to let you know that your Autism Tree family, you'll always have a huge legacy here, and you'll always mean so much to us. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing a little bit with us today.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much for all of that. You way overdid it. Way overdid the intro, I think.
Well, good. I hope it made your day.
Oh, Josh, well, thank you for joining us today again. I know you've probably got a really busy schedule with your two boys and, doing everything, being a CrossFit icon and all of that entails. So I have a couple questions for you, and you can tell us a little bit about your background and your background in CrossFit athletics. You said you're a strength and conditioning coach, and your first impressions of Autism Tree when you first learned about us.
Yeah, so my background, I guess, athletically, Dana's kind of went over the CrossFit stuff quite a bit, but I played football and I ran track in college, and then got into competing in the sport of weightlifting after college. And through that, my weightlifting coach actually introduced me to CrossFit in the very early days of CrossFit just starting. And I got involved with CrossFit and then started competing there, and did well early on in the early CrossFit games. And even before the games, some of the videos Dana mentioned I was in before the CrossFit games came out. And I guess I got really popular within that community because there wasn't the CrossFit games. There wasn't a chance for people to meet these higher level CrossFit athletes. So YouTube was the only outlet for them, or the CrossFit CrossFit.com website. So gained some popularity there. But professionally, I've also been a strength and conditioning coach for over 20 years now. I've spent a little over a decade working for college athletics. So being a strength coach, working with whatever the football team, the basketball team, you name it, behind the scenes in the weight room and their conditioning. And then about the last 11 years or so, I've worked for the military in the same capacity, but helping soldiers prepare for their training and their job rather than athletes for a game. And I've continued this entire time to work for CrossFit as an instructor at their courses, where CrossFit coaches go to learn how to teach CrossFit. So kind of a train the trainer for CrossFit. In terms of how I found out and got linked up with Autism Tree project. So my son Luke was diagnosed with autism, and maybe after about a year or so, I felt like we had been taking in terms of all these services, right, that he needed to get him on track and help him out. And I really just wanted to give back. And as a CrossFitter, what we do in the CrossFit community is we get together, we work out, and everyone pitches in 10, 20 bucks or whatever. And then that money goes to a charity or to help out. So I started to get this organized. I was like, I need a charity to donate to. And one of my friends, JP, played on the football team. He's actually an amazing story himself. He retired from the military and went and played football for University of San Diego at age 35. So 35 to 39, whatever it took him to graduate. So he was a guy in his late 30s playing college football. But JP had worked with you guys in your mentorship program with the football team. He said, hey, I know you're looking for a autism charity, and I don't know much about them, but the program they did with us was great. And we linked up with the kids, and it was fantastic. So I got a hold of ATPF, and I still remember that first phone call with Dana. So I get on the phone with her and I said, hey, I want to do a fundraiser for you and raise some money for your charity. Are you guys okay with that? She was like, yes, you can give us money, of course. So that was how it all started. And I was literally planning on one location. My goal was $2,500. And to be honest, I went into it, I was like, we're going to raise whatever we raise, and then I'll personally put in whatever it takes to get us up to $2,500. We're going to give $2,500 to ATPF. And what ended up happening was so many people had a connection to autism that people jumped out of the woodwork to help me. And I really didn't do anything but social media and make phone calls to other CrossFit athletes to ask them to do some social media. And it blew up because every single gym had a member that had a family member or knew somebody that was affected by autism. And that's how we got the numbers up in the participation. Like there was a personal connection in every gym. And like Dana said, we ended up being in over 50 countries. And I think at one time, more than 300 different gyms participated in the fundraiser. So it was humbling and awesome to see how I can't take much credit for it, but it was definitely amazing how it grew and expanded.
That's
I
incredible.
agree. I'm still giving you all the credit because, I didn't show the one video that I could have that, you and your wife, Mary, really poured your heart out to, and it was to the CrossFit community. And I'd like to think that that just ignited the globe, because it was a pretty powerful, emotional, video, because it was all new for you guys. But I rewatched that when I was preparing for you coming on.
Is it on YouTube, Dana? Can I use it?
Yeah,
Follow up?
it is. There's so much on YouTube. I even watched too, Josh. There's like a 4-minute video of you. I think, yeah, and you're pumped up. It's really great. I wanted to show that too, but it lended to what you were talking about with all the sports teams, how you worked with all the athletes. It's like a 4-minute video, and I think it's like, I don't know, it's from a long time ago. Maybe would UC Riverside sound right?
Yeah, I used to work
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it was from there, and you're like, in it to win it. You have like, you're just like really fired up talking about all the teams, and it's great.
That was probably one of the promotional videos. I was in a documentary called Every Second Counts that documented kind of some athletes leading up to the 2008 CrossFit Games. So that was probably that sounds like one of the promos for that movie.
Yeah, I think you're right. I loved them all. Like, it was really hard to choose just one.
That's awesome. Well, I was doing a little bit of internet research before we came on here, and I didn't get to watch all the YouTube videos, but I did see there's a lot on there. I'll definitely include some links in our follow-up email. And I also saw
Yeah.
the documentary too. I think you can rent it on Amazon Prime for like really cheap. So I'll kind of put a link in there for people to, if they want to learn more, they can view that too. But I also in my research, I learned that I saw your stats, Josh, on the CrossFit Games website. And this is how big of a deal that Josh is, guys. He's in 2020 for the men 45 to 49. He's ranked 35th worldwide. And 18th in the USA, in the whole country, which is just
Wow.
So this is so cool. I mean, yes, so much credit to you, Josh. You have such a presence, online and to this community. And so that's definitely, we'll give you credit for that because it's amazing. Second question, what have you done with your family to stay healthy and productive since shelter in place in March? Our little Timmy and Luke, I guess, who are not so little anymore, do they like to be as active as you are?
Yeah, they are 10 and 8 and super active. In fact, they're right outside the door with their skateboards. I can hear doing something outside, making noise if you hear any noise. But when the shelter in place, to stay healthy, one, we really focused on nutrition, making sure that was dialed in. Of course, that's kind of where it all starts, really. But having a schedule helped a lot, because for them in particular, all the sports got dropped, right? The soccers and the basketballs and kind of all of those things. So we developed a routine where we did fitness together as a family, or I was the coach and they were the athletes. But I sort of started training them just like I train the military personnel or sports athletes, a little different, age appropriate, of course. But establishing, okay, at whatever it is at 3 o'clock, 6 days a week, we're going to do workout time. So things became a little bit more structured, and we tried to replace what had been happening with, their sports that they were no longer able to go to, with workouts at home. And of course, we've got the backyard set up. There's skateboard ramps back there and trampoline, and we've really worked hard since birth at setting up an environment that encourages play and being physical. So that was a big part. And then we've done this before, but they have limited screen time. So they have a stopwatch, and they know how much time they get per day. And as soon as the stopwatch hits that, they can budget their own time. They can use it all up in the morning if they want, or they can save it. But when the stopwatch hits their time limit, they're done. And that kind of forces them to not be sitting, but to find something else to do, whether that's reading, which we of course encourage, or most of the time they go outside and play, or get on the ping pong table, or something like that. So that's kind of, I think kind of creating the environment and then having a schedule were key elements for us keeping our sanity and keeping our health and fitness up.
That's awesome. Thanks to Laura. She just commented, my daughter and I do country line dancing and hip hop for fitness TV on Roku. It's pretty fun. And then Terrence says, I used to play basketball, but I usually take walks. So yeah, there's a ton of different ways you could do it, and depending on the kid's age and their ability. And I love all those ideas, Josh, that you said you do with your boys. It's so wonderful that it came so naturally, since you're used to creating a routine for, fitness and then translating that at home too. That's fun. Okay, last question. Do you have any specific personal or professional goals that you're working towards right now?
So right now, a goal, it's funny, the quote Dana put about, the importance of fatherhood, and that's probably number one for me, is continuing to develop and be a great dad to my sons, and lead them to be, godly men. Our faith is big to us. But that is something that I'm always like reading about, listening to podcasts, and trying to get ideas, and making sure that I'm connecting with them, and spending time with them, not just quality time, but quantity time. So I've learning to say no. So, opportunities do come up, whether it's professionally or personally, or competing and having fun and all this stuff, and learning to say, hey, like, I've got this decade or 15 years or whatever, from 5 to 15, that the boys are really going to want to spend time with me and all that. Like, I need to maybe say no to some other opportunities in order to have that time with them while I have it, because I can dig into other stuff later. So I really try to prioritize being at home and being a great dad. It's probably my number one goal right now at this time.
Love it. Well, if anybody has any questions, we have, I think, like 7 minutes-ish. So you feel free to unmute yourself or type your question in the chat and I can read it for you. Josh is a fitness expert, so if you have any questions about exercising or different routines or techniques, this is the guy to ask.
Oh.
Terrence, do you have something?
Oh, yes. Hey, Josh, how long have you been a fitness expert?
Yeah, so I started, I would say, as a professional that was paid to coach and train people. That started in 1998. So,
oh, that's long.
Yeah, I have to do the math on that. I'm a older guy now, so a while, but it's always been something I've been interested in, sports. And then I went to college for physical education. Originally, my plan was to be a physical education teacher and a coach. I wanted to coach football.
Yes.
And then once I got into college, I discovered that I enjoyed the preparing for the season. Like, I enjoyed the off season. So the running and the lifting as much or even more than the season. And I didn't want to watch film. As a football player, I hated watching film. I hated like scouting and all that stuff. So strength and conditioning kind of became the angle where, could work in the background and, work in the weight room and out on the field and track, and still get to coach and not have to do some of the stuff that I didn't really like too much.
I like you're talking about the working out, like exercise and stuff.
It's really
Yeah.
Which is great. I love it.
Thank you, Terrence. It's very important to work out, definitely.
Yes.
Francisca, thank you for entering a question in the chat. She says, hi, everyone. My son is 8. How can I help him improve balance and coordination? It's a great question. Josh, do you have any experience of doing that with your boys?
Yeah, awesome stuff. So coordination and balance. So I'd say number one is as a parent, we want to protect our kids all the time, but it's okay if they fall down and scrape their elbows and their knees and get bumps and bruises. So number one for me and my kids' development has been let them play. Like the most dangerous thing you can do is like try to put them in a bubble and protect them, right? But some practical stuff you can do is have them try to walk on like a curb or a balance on the curb is an easy one. Or if you have like some sort of 2x4 or even some sort of old rail or pipe, like balancing there, or pretending to be like a stork and standing on one leg is good, and then standing on your tippy toe on one leg, and then when that's easy, what you really want to throw them off is have them close their eyes and try to balance on one leg, or balance on one leg and touch objects on the ground and come back up without letting their other leg touch. So that kind of stuff is good. Or even standing on one leg and playing catch, throwing a ball back and forth, can really help with their balance and coordination as well.
Love it. Great question, Francisca. Thank you. Do you have any other like tidbits of fitness things for the kids? I don't know. Or maybe tell us a little bit about what your routine is. Maybe for our parents out there, what can they do?
Yeah. So I think for the parents or for anyone, you always have to start with why do you want to do this? Why are you pursuing fitness, right? Because pretty much everybody understands that most people need to eat less and move more, or that's a good prescription for improving your health, right? The question is the discipline and the motivation for being able to do it. So looking at and discovering why, there's of course the low-hanging fruit is health. I want to avoid chronic disease. I want to lose weight. I want to look better. I want to feel better. So those are ones that are kind of obvious, but what I always say is I look at it as this hour makes the other 23 hours better. When I work out, if I commit an hour to fitness, and some people say I don't have time, or they feel like they're taking away from their family or their career, you're not taking away from those things, you're adding to them. So if you work out for an hour, you will sleep better. You make those other hopefully 7-8 hours better. You'll choose better foods because you don't want to ruin what you just did in your workout, and you'll crave better foods. You'll be a better parent, a better husband, wife, spouse, whatever that is. You'll be a better employee. You'll have more energy. So I look at these things as it's a return on investment. It's not taking away, it's adding. So that's a big why for me. One, I enjoy it. It's fun. It's not fun for everybody. So having multiple reasons why you want to do it, and then that why has to be so deep that it's going to get you to do it when you don't want to. So I think looking at it and doing a good examination on what's motivating you. And for some of the parents there, if you're a caregiver, and you have somebody that's relying on you for a long time or over the long haul, you might give yourself another 10 or 15 years of being able to care for them. So we're all going to end up at a time and place where we can't care for others, or we need somebody to care for us. But we can extend that time. So maybe that's your motivator as to why you get into that and work out. So I think establishing why, and then the next step is why. After why is what does it mean to be fit, and basically you can think of it, there's kind of 10 categories in fitness, or 10 modes. So you've got cardiorespiratory endurance, stamina, strength, flexibility, power, speed, coordination, agility, accuracy, balance. So all of these are fitness components, right? And to be fit, you need to have capacity, be competent in each of those 10 areas, not just one or two. So a lot of people will just do cardio or just do strength training. But really, if there's 10 different components, your fitness program needs to encompass all of that. So getting a lot of variety, like different ways to work out, is important. That'll also be motivating and keep it fun, right? And I mentioned earlier, having a plan is key too. So if you have a plan and stick to it, and it's a variety, it makes that easier. Always, being a stickler for good technique, which is going to keep it safe and actually make it more efficient, is as well. And then at some point there needs to be some intensity in there, and usually it's being intense when you're uncomfortable, and that's what's going to push you to get better. It doesn't matter if it's physical or learning or your career. Like, usually we get the most out of something when we're made a little bit uncomfortable outside of our comfort zone, and that certainly applies to fitness as well.
Wow. Fantastic advice. I think we should just end it there. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Josh.
Awesome, Josh. All done.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Karen says, thank you for blessing us today, Josh. You're truly an inspiration. I wholeheartedly agree. Thank you for being a part of our community and giving us so much support for our children families. We are just so grateful for you and all that you've done for us. And we hope to definitely keep following you and all that you're doing, and stay in touch with your kids and your family and watching them grow. It's really exciting. So thank you again. I would love to take a quick group picture. Everyone's up for it before we end. Hold on one sec. I'll go into gallery view. Okay. So if optional, you can turn your camera on. This is the point. We want to see all your friendly faces, but it's optional. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Josh. Thank you everybody for coming too.
Yes. Happy Wednesday. We hope to see you all next week. Thank you, Josh.
Take care, guys.
Thanks so much. Take care. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.